We've been doing the Truth Teller series lately. We talked about the truth with a lot of college football coaches, but it's not limited to coaches. We could tell the truth on anything. So tonight I thought it's a good time to tell the truth about college football officiating. We mostly agree on this. College football officiating is broken. I think it's bad. I think college football officiating in a lot of cases outright sucks. But I'm not sure, even if you're nodding your head and you agree with me, I'm not sure I'm talking about what you may be talking about. And maybe we are. Maybe we're on the same page here. I think when people say their opinion of college football officials is that it sucks, they suck, I think what you're talking about is guys missing calls, girls missing calls. I'm not really talking about that, although I don't like to see missed calls. And it's egregious if the same person keeps missing calls because they shouldn't still have the same role they have. We agree on that. But let me tell you what I think about officiating. I think it's really hard to do. And I think college football officials, by and large, are extremely good at what they do. I think they've got the intention of doing the best job they possibly can. 99% of the time, when the allegation's thrown out that something's crooked or something isn't as it seems, I don't buy that. I talk to these guys a lot. Before games, some of the first people to come up to me when I'm on the field are officials, and I swear to you, although they will remain nameless, officials, white hats, like crew chief types, in major conference games last year, several times came up to me because we covered this topic on the show, and you would think they'd hate it. And they said, "We love it, keep pushing." And it's because of what I hate about college football officiating. It's not the officials that I have the big problem with. I've got a problem with the fact that, and this will blow your mind, it's settle back, strap in, because this is going to be a wild concept, but the people who run college football have really screwed up officiating. For the officials, but especially for us. That's the bad news. The good news is it's fixable. The other bit of questionable news is I have no clue if it'll get fixed. But the problem is not in blown calls. So maybe I differ from you here. But yeah, we got blown calls. They have them in the NFL. They've got them in Major League Baseball. They've got them all over the place. The problem's with the lack of national standards. And that's not something that the line judge in the Michigan State game really has control over. The problem's in the fact that Big Ten folks are made to care about different things than SEC folks, than Big 12 folks, than ACC folks. And you would think to yourself, wait, college football is a huge multi-billion-dollar enterprise. You're telling me they haven't gotten the enforcement mechanisms of the games themselves on the same page? Great question. No, they haven't. The certification process is jacked up. What's required of them is jacked up. What is emphasized in one conference versus another conference is jacked up. There is this inexcusable resistance to transparency that's jacked up. In other words, you pay hundreds of dollars for your ticket, or you pay exorbitant fees for your cable package or YouTube TV, by and large because you want to be able to watch the games live, and you contribute emotionally and financially, and then someone blows a call and the powers that be look at you and say, "Piss on you, we don't owe you an explanation." You owe every one of us an explanation. These aren't state secrets. You're not hiding the nuclear codes. Someone screwed up in LSU, South Carolina. I'd love to know why the call got made. And at the very worst, I'm not going to get an explanation. And if I'm Shane Beamer, not only can I not call it out, I'm going to get fined if I do call it out, even though everyone knows I'm telling the truth and I'm reflecting what they think. Officials don't control that, though. They're not the ones who wrote the rules for themselves. Most of this is out of officials' hands. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're not, I humbly ask that you click subscribe. It's free. It doesn't sign you up for anything. What it does is it helps us keep this show free so we can just do college football year-round. All right, back to the clip. So, the one thing I'll tell you is every time I do this segment, I get feedback from officials. And believe it or not, a lot of them have no problem taking accountability. What they've got a problem with is the real story is not told. Like, you probably don't know the certification process. You probably don't know how clinicians are selected to run the clinics and the camps that the officials go to, and how they're promoted, and who makes that determination, who decides the crew that's working your game. in Arkansas, in Fayetteville, Arkansas this Saturday. And when one of them screws up last week, did they screw up just because they missed a call? Or did they screw up because they're calling an out-of-conference game in Fayetteville, Arkansas with Arizona State in town, and it's actually a crew from another conference, and they've been told to emphasize things differently than another conference's officiating crew has. And they actually did what they've been taught to do, but they made the call in a part of the country that's normally officiated by other crews that have been told different things. See, quickly, the web gets tangled when you learn how big of a mess it is behind the scenes. Now, this shouldn't come as a shock to you. This is college football. Why in the world would it make sense, right? So I got a lot of problems with a lot of that. But my biggest problem, above and beyond all that other mess, is the lack of transparency. This is where officials disagree with me a little bit, but hear me out. Every time you see a bad call in a college football game, what do you know? You know, largely, what you just saw is what you're going to get. You'll see a replay, and so you'll be able to judge for yourself whether the official got it right or not. I mean, I had a head coach the other day tell me officials have never been in a worse position. Because it used to be, we maybe got a replay on the big board in the stadium, or we had someone in the press box calling down saying, hey, he missed this one. Now they've all got the iPads on the sideline, so they know seconds later, crystal clear HD view whether the guy missed it or not. So it's not in question whether they missed it. The question is, are you going to get an explanation? Me and you, not the coaches, me and you. The entire reason the thing exists to the scale it does to begin with, are we going to get an explanation? And you know what you're going to get told? Well, we can't subject officials to that. And why not? Well, they're not full-time employees. I want you to imagine you're a track star for your high school. And you show up one day, big meet against your crosstown rival. And you walk out on the track with chains on your ankles. And you walk up to coach and say, I can't run today. And he says, why? You say, I got these chains on my ankles. And then he says, what's that in your hand? Is that a key? Just take the chains off. And you're like, I can't hear you. Just keep walking. You would be a laughingstock, right? You would be dismissed from the program immediately, because in no other walk of life would this fly. Except we're supposed to swallow that in college football. It's a multi-billion-dollar operation with a nickel and dime officiating apparatus attached to it. This is not, by the way, it's not like choosing the crew that cleans the bleachers after the game, which, all due respect to you guys, pales in significance to what's happening on the field. These are the people that decide the games. These are the people who make the calls that decide the games. And we've got people somewhere, nameless, faceless, whoever runs this sport right now, we got people saying, we don't really owe you an explanation about why this call went the way it did. Coaches don't get one half the time. And even if they do, it's kind of 2 days late and it doesn't matter because they don't retroactively let you go back to the point in the game they screwed the call up and restart it. And here's the other thing. What happens the following week? I've had a couple of people from different league offices reach out and say, hey, just because you don't think we're punishing those crews doesn't mean we're not. You're making my point. Make it public. Make it public. Who are you protecting here? The part-time employee, Josh. Well, I got a radical concept for you. Make them full-time employees. Well, we can't do that because we've never done that. It's great logic. Great logic. I'm sure we would have advanced light years as a society using the logic we can't do things we've never done before. What's the fix? We can't be presenting problems without solutions on this show. That would be irresponsible. Here's the fix. Nationalize college football officiating. It's 2025. I don't think there's really any need for SEC officials or league officials to exist. College football officials should exist. Same certification, same training, same grading system. They're all taught the same thing. They all work off the same book. They all work off the same code. They're full-time employees, and then they're treated like them. They get paid like them. They ought to get treated like them, and you maximize transparency on the entire process. There's a crew chief available after every game. They made the calls in the game, and you know what? When the true freshman quarterback throws 3 picks, he's got a microphone in his face. When a head coach screws up and misuses a timeout or keeps one in his back pocket, he's got to go to the podium and answer for it after the game. So do you. So do you. You got a big role to play in this as well. You ought to get compensated for it. You ought to be taken care of. And there's a lot of behavior out there, all the way from Little League to professional sports, of fans towards officials that's garbage. I don't condone it at all. I don't condone it at all. However, I think some of that, not all of it, but some of that would be alleviated if people at least knew they were going to get an answer after a game, get an explanation. And sometimes it's like Jim Joyce cost Armando Galarraga a perfect game. And what does he do? He sits there and cries after the game and says, I screwed up. Well, you know what? People don't continue to chase if you don't run. But a lack of transparency is tantamount to you running. And also, what we'd love to know is that if someone is just bad at their job, that there are punitive measures taken against that person. We'd love to see promotion and relegation in the officiating world the same way we do in our workplace. And we'd love, in a perfect world, for it to be based on merit rather than whose cousin happens to be on what crew. Because right now we have no transparency. We have no clue how that works. And so that's the truth about officiating in college football. Officiating's broken right now, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be at all.